Welcome everyone. In today's lecture, we'll start tissue culture. We will see what is tissue culture and what are the methods and what are the applications of tissue culture. Right, children? Now let us start the topic. So here we wrote that what is the necessity of tissue culture. So what is the necessity of strategies for enhancement in food production only? So we understood that the conventional or the traditional breeding programs are not sufficient to provide the food for the increasing population. Then we came out with many techniques like animal breeding, plant breeding, right? And then we improved pisciculture, fisheries, aquaculture, then poultry farming, dairy farming. So we have enhanced all these fields. Why did we enhance? So if we rear cattle, then milk and meat and other products can be formed, which is again a food for the people, right? And if we rear poultry farm industry, their chick, egg and all are the products. Again, if we rear pisciculture means fishes again the food. So wherever we are checking to try to improve the yield, right? In the same manner, this approach is also to improve the yield only, tissue culture also, right? So as traditional breeding techniques fail to keep the pace with the demand for the crop improvement. That's what I told you. So the traditional programs, the traditional agricultural programs were not able to meet the demands for the increasing population. Then another approach came, and another technique came, which is called as tissue culture technique. So another technique got developed to improve the yield, in a short span. That is called as tissue culture technique, right? So plant tissue culture we are talking about. Plant tissue culture is a technique of in vitro culturing. We should understand here what's the meaning of in vivo and in vitro. In vivo means culturing inside the body, right? That is in vivo. And if you are growing or culturing anything in the lab outside the body, that's called in vitro culturing. So tissue culture, you'll be doing it in a tissue culture lab, in a conical flask or in a beaker or in a test tube we'll be doing. So means it is in vitro only, right? So tissue culture technique is a technique which involves in vitro culturing of the cells. Either we can culture the cells or the tissues or the organ. So we can culture plant cells or we can culture a tissue, parenchyma tissue, collenchyma tissue, sclerenchyma tissue, or we can culture an organ, root as an organ we can culture, stem as an organ, leaf as an organ, right? Anther, like that we can culture. So we can culture cells also, tissues also, organs also, and we can differentiate them from a single cell or from an explant we call. We have an ability to generate the whole plant body, which will differentiate into root, stem, leaf. From any part of the plant we can generate the whole body. It means it gets differentiated into root, stem and leaf. So we can differentiate it. Where are you differentiating it? In an artificial culture medium, which is called as tissue culture medium, under aseptic conditions. This is important, no? Under sterilized conditions. So when I'm taking class also, so I need a serene, cool, calm place where I can deliver my class in a better manner. In the same manner, when we are doing tissue culture experiments, there we need to see aseptic conditions, sterilized conditions, so that the callus can grow well and the plantlets without any infection, they can come out in a nice manner. Under aseptic conditions in suitable containers. Children, this is a definition of plant tissue culture. Let us see again. What is plant tissue culture? First tell me, is it culturing within the planta or you are doing it in the lab? We are doing it in the lab. So then it's called in vitro culture. So we can culture the plant either in the form of a cell or in the form of a tissue or in the form of an organ. So and then whatever you are taking from there, you're going to make the whole body. Means we are going to differentiate it, right? We're going to differentiate it where? In an artificial culture medium. What is it called? A popular tissue culture medium is called MS medium, Murashige and Skoog medium. So we will culture it in a tissue culture medium under aseptic conditions, under sterilized conditions, in special conditions. It's called tissue culture technique. So before getting into the process of the technique, let us see the historical details about the tissue culture that I have written here, children. Now let's start. Tissue culture technique was first initiated by who initiated the tissue culture technique? A scientist called Haberland. A scientist called Haberland first initiated the technique of tissue culture when in 1902. That is why he is called as father of plant tissue culture. Now we know, like, for whom do we give the title father? Father of botany, father of zoology. For whom? We give the father title means a person who has done significant contribution in that field. He might be the second person, third person or the 10th person to work in that field. But that discovery what he has made should be a significant discovery. In the same manner, Haberland is a person first initiated the technique of tissue culture in the year 1902. Since that's why he is called as father of plant tissue culture. Then Skoog and Miller. These two scientists' names, are you recollecting? Did we hear about these scientists anywhere in your 11th standard? Yeah, with plant growth and development. So these are the people with cytokinin discovery. We will hear these names. These two people told, like in tissue culture medium, when a mass comes, which is called as callus, when a mass comes, to that mass, if you want to initiate root growth, we need to add auxin, it seems. And if you want to initiate the shoot growth, we need to add cytokinin. Auxin, cytokinin, abscisic acid, gibberellin, ethylene, all these are plant hormones. So they told that if we want to induce morphogenesis, if you want to make morphological structures from an undifferentiated mass of tissue in the tissue culture experiment, which is called as callus, if the root has to come, you need to give auxin to it. If the shoot has to develop, you need to give cytokinin to it. Who told this? Skoog and Miller. That's what I have written here. Skoog and Miller found that the growth and morphogenesis, the development and differentiation of root and stem were controlled by hormones. What are the hormones? Auxins and cytokinins. Then Morgan, again tell me, where did we hear the name called Morgan? In Drosophila, right? Linkage recombinations. Morgan is a person who coined the term totipotency. This is important terminology we need to understand. Morgan coined the term totipotency. We studied in Principles of Inheritance and chapter, we studied Morgan is a person who coined the term linkage. Morgan is a person who coined the term recombination. Third word got added. Morgan is a person who coined the term totipotency also. Now, the concept of totipotency was explained by father of plant tissue culture, his Haberland. The word was coined by Morgan. The concept of totipotency was explained by Haberland. And what is totipotency? Let us try to understand what is totipotency. Now, I'm interested to do tissue culture experiment. I brought some tissue culture medium in a conical flask. Now I need to add the sample, right? Plant part I need to add. So I can add root or stem or leaf, any part I can add it, right? So I can go pluck one leaf, wash it nicely, drop it inside the tissue culture medium. The part of the plant which I am plucking from the plant and dropping into tissue culture medium is called as explant. It is X of the plant. It came out of the plant and it is used as a sample now for tissue culture medium. It's called as explant. Now this explant, when you add it to the tissue culture medium, so within few days what happens is this leaf or stem or root develops into a white amorphous mass, undifferentiated mass, which is called as callus. That's called as callus. Now from this callus, the cells of callus are totipotent, we will tell. The cells of callus, cellular totipotency. Now this white amorphous mass which is there in the tissue culture medium, they are totipotent, means they are able to generate the whole plant again. They can make the whole plant again, root, stem, leaf, everything. Means from a single cell you can make the whole plant. That's what is totipotency. Totipotency means it is the capacity to generate the whole plant. It is the capacity to generate the whole plant from a cell or from the callus. I told you how to obtain callus. Take any part of the plant, drop it in the tissue culture medium, grow it, incubate it. Within few days, we can see that this plant part, explant, what you have added, consuming the nutrients which is present here, turns into a white undifferentiated amorphous mass which is called as callus. Now the cells of the callus will have an ability to make the whole plant. This capacity is called as totipotency, right? Then Guha and Maheswari, these are the scientists. They developed haploid culture, root, stem, leaf, all these are diploid parts. So we diploid culture, these people have done it, but haploid culture, anther culture was done by Guha and Maheshwari, right, Amma? This is about the historical background, and here we have seen the definition of tissue culture. What is a necessity of tissue culture? From this sentence we understood. Now come this side, what did we write here? In 1950s, scientists understood. In 1950s, scientists understood that the whole plant could be regenerated from explant. That is what I am trying to tell you. Any part of the plant which is used as a starting material in tissue culture is called as explant. Now this explant has a capacity to make the whole plant body again, was understood by the scientists in the year 1950, right? But under sterile conditions, means under aseptic conditions, in a medium, what is that medium called? Tissue culture medium. Now every time we are telling tissue culture medium, let us see what is the composition of the tissue culture medium. Now in NCERT exercise questions, there is one question they asked us, what are the components of the tissue culture medium? These are the components when you are preparing tissue culture medium. So what are the components we need to add? Inorganic salts we need to add. Inorganic salts means minerals, yes, we need to add minerals, because you know that plants, what do they take it from the soil? Minerals only, means plant need minerals for their growth, we know that. So that is why we are going to supplement all the macro elements and micro elements which are supporting the growth of the plant in the tissue culture medium. That is the first component. Second one is organic form, carbon source we have to provide. We also know that plant uses glucose and sucrose, so we are providing sucrose here as a carbon source. That is the second component. And the third one is we'll add vitamins which promote the growth at a faster rate. Vitamins like thiamine, niacin, pyridoxine are added to the tissue culture medium, which will promote the growth faster. Then next, amino acids also we supplement, particularly arginine we give. I think arginine helps in the growth again. The next one is plant growth regulators. Here Skoog and Miller told the same thing. When we add auxin, root growth will be developed. When we add cytokinin, shoot growth will be formed. So we need to add plant growth regulators. Then yes, auxin. Which form of auxin do we use in tissue culture? 2,4-D, 2,4-dioxy phenoxyacetic acid is a variety of auxin. We use it in tissue culture. Which type of cytokinin? Benzoaminopurin. Benzoaminopurin and 2,4-diphenhoxyacetic acid is the name of the auxin. We add them, which help in root development and shoot development. The pH we need to maintain, right? Every growth or every system requires a particular pH. Now in tissue culture medium, the pH should be 5.7. You need to maintain it. Then solidifying agent. There are two types of tissue cultures. One is called a suspension culture. Other one is called a solid culture. In suspension culture, there is no need of adding the solidifying agent. The plants will suspend, the tissue will suspend. Whereas in solid culture, so the callus grows on top of that solid medium. So then we need to add either agar-agar taken from the cell walls of red algae, or gelatin also we can add to solidify the medium. Solidifying agent agar we add when not in the suspension culture, in solid cultures we use it, right? So the most extensively used medium in tissue culture, I told you, the popular medium is MS medium, which was prepared, which was formulated by two eminent scientists called Murashige and Skoog, right? Now let us check once again, what are the components of tissue culture medium? First one, inorganic salts, macronutrients and micronutrients, they are required for the growth of the plant, that we are going to supplement. As a carbon source, we are going to give sucrose, that's the second component. Vitamins which promote the growth like niacin, inositol, pyridoxine and thiamine, we are going to add it. Amino acid, particularly arginine, we are going to add. And plant growth hormones, auxin promoting root growth, cytokinin promoting shoot growth, to be added. Then if it is a solid culture, add agar-agar. If it's a liquid culture, no need to add that. We need to check the pH, maintain the pH at 5.7. Take all those things, mix it in distilled water, your medium is ready, right? The most widely used, extensively used tissue culture medium was prepared, formulated by scientists called Murashige and Skoog. So it is called as MS medium. After preparing the medium, now we need to pick the explant from the plant, right? And we need to drop it here. Whatever you are picking, root or stem or leaf, anything, whatever you are picking. So take that and clean it nicely. Disinfectant we need to wash it in chemical, right? So which chemical do we use here? Means 1% sodium hypochlorite or alcohol or formalin solution. We use it as disinfectant to maintain the sterilized conditions. After that, what are the other requirements which are required for growing the plants in vitro? So temperature should be regulated. Usually the lab or the room where tissue cultures are being maintained, they need to be maintained at 24 degrees centigrade. That is one important thing. And the one is aeration. So plant requires oxygen, we know that. So that is why there are certain things which are called as shakers. A plate will be there, it will be on a machine and it will be shaking. So when we keep the tissue culture beakers or tissue culture flasks on the shaker, it will be shaking. As it is getting shaked, it receives the oxygen. So aeration should be required. Optimal temperature 24 degrees should be maintained, and light illumination is also important, right? Photoperiodicity. The tissue culture plants usually they require 16 hours of photoperiodicity. So that photoperiodicity, by using artificial light as sources, we can use it, right? Light illumination we have to use. Humidity is also important factor. 50 to 60% of humidity in terms of water and all those things we need to give. If not, the embryo or whatever the callus is getting, it gets dehydrated, right, children? So what did we see on this board? We discussed what is the necessity of tissue culture. We have seen what is the definition of tissue culture. We have seen the historical background related to tissue culture. Then what is an idea about an explant for scientists, that we discussed. And coming to the requirements, how to prepare a tissue culture medium, what are the components, then what are the other requirements like aeration, agitation, then light illumination, disinfection, all that we discussed. Take a screenshot, we will continue. Right, ma? Yes. Now, by applying tissue culture, we are able to grow plants in a very short span. Right? We are able to grow plants in a very short span, and rapidly we are able to grow them. So that is why we can also call tissue culture as micro propagation. Micro propagation means multiplication. No, multiplication means in small a test tube you are propagating, in a small beaker you are propagating. So that's why we can also call tissue culture as micro propagation. Now we'll talk about micropropagation, which also comes under tissue culture only. Right, children? So we can tell that by applying tissue culture, it is possible to achieve propagation of large number of plants in short duration. By applying tissue culture, we are able to generate large number of plants in very short duration. Large number of plants can be multiplied in very short duration. Why so? If you sow a seed inside the soil, the seed has to complete its dormancy. It has to check for the favorable conditions. You have to water it and all. Then only taking its enough time, coolly the plantlet will come out, right? But when you are providing everything ready-made, so then the growth of the plant will be very fast. That's what we wrote. In short duration, large number of plantlets will develop. Means if you take a small cupboard, in that cupboard how many test tubes you can arrange, those many plantlets you can develop. Means hundreds and thousands you can develop in this much small area, right? So a stand is there, like here I keep a rack, here I keep a rack, here I keep a rack, and I'll be arranging a series of test tubes, but in the same area I think I can grow only 3 or 4 plants. That is why we call tissue culture technique, in vitro propagation technique, multiplication technique as micro propagation, right? This method is used for producing thousands of plants, right? It is used for producing, since it is used for producing thousands of plants, it is called micro propagation. This method is used for producing, thousands of plants, many plants. Since it is able to produce thousands of plants, we call this technique as micro propagation. We call the technique as micro propagation. Propagation means multiplication. In a short span, we are propagating it. So, micropropagation. So, now what is your idea about micropropagation? Tell me. Micropropagation is tissue culture only, which is used for rapid vegetative multiplication, because you are not taking seed here, you are taking root or stem or leaf, vegetative parts you are taking here, right? So, we can tell that. So, micropropagation is a technique used for rapid vegetative propagation. So, micropropagation is a technique for rapid, what are the vegetative parts? Root, stem, leaf. Rapid vegetative multiplication. I am writing it as propagation. So, micropropagation is a tissue culture technique. We can write it as is a tissue culture. I am writing here as tissue culture technique. It is a type of tissue culture technique for rapid vegetative propagation, vegetative multiplication of ornamental plants and fruit trees. Of ornamental plants and fruit trees. Now this can come as a question. In the question paper, if they are asking you, name that technique where we can produce many plants which are of ornamental plants in a short duration, means the answer is micropropagation. Ornamental plants means orchids. Orchids, usually the seeds are non-endospermic and they cannot be propagated through seeds. So they are propagated only by vegetative propagation, and that too by micropropagation they go. So that's what I wrote. Micropropagation is a tissue culture technique which is used for rapid vegetative multiplication of ornamental plants and fruit trees, right? And this is the only method what plant breeders use to develop ornamental plants. We can tell this is the only method. This is the only method where Indian plant breeders use to propagate. They use this method to propagate two types of plants. What are the two types of plants? One is orchid plants, and the second one is I wrote fruit trees. This is the only method what Indian plant breeders till now they use for producing or propagating, for multiplying. One, orchid plants. The second one is the fruit trees. Orchid plants means ornamental plants. Let us write down some ornamental plants. Lily ornamentala, orchid ornamentala, cinchona. These are ornamental plants. Orchid plants examples are, we can tell again, orchid, lily, cinchona. So these come under ornamental category. Coming to the fruit trees, apple we can take in NCERT they have given. So micropropagation has been successfully used for commercial production of apple, banana, citrus, oil palm, all those things. So fruit trees, like we can go with apple, banana, citrus, palm, oil palms. So, if we want to produce many palm oil trees, or if we want to produce many citrus trees and banana and apple trees, the method what the breeder or the nursery person will do is micropropagation only. Or for cultivation, orchids, lilies and all, again the plant breeder will depend on micropropagation technique only. I think now we understood what is micropropagation. So, micropropagation means propagating in a short span, propagating in enormous number, propagation through vegetative parts, not through the seed. Propagating through the vegetative parts is called as micropropagation, which is a type of tissue culture technique. Right, children? Now, let us see the advantages. Take a screenshot. We'll continue with the advantages. Advantages of micropropagation or tissue culture shall we see now? Now, one advantage of tissue culture is rapid multiplication, very fast multiplication, short span of time. So, advantages of tissue culture, or you can go with micro propagation. One, we can tell that rapid multiplication of plants, fast multiplication of plants, rapid multiplication of plants. Then next one, what we can tell is large number of plantlets are obtained in a short span, right? So large number of plantlets are obtained in short span. This is another important point. Another one, since all the plantlets which are formed are from a common callus, right? Thousands of plants are formed from a common callus, and this callus came from the vegetative part of the mother plant. So then all these 1,000 plants which are formed from tissue culture, they resemble their parent, they resemble their mother. So, and that too, what part you took for micropropagation? Vegetative part, not the reproductive part like seed and all. So we call them as soma clones. Why do we call them as soma clones? Because the progeny, like each of it, is resembling the mother plant. All plants, they resemble the parent plant. Since they are resembling the parent plant, we call them as, all these plants are called as soma clones, because you took it from a vegetative part. From there you got many thousands, all of them are similar to each other, they're similar to the mother also. So they're called soma clones. Soma clones, how many soma clones are there? Thousands and thousands of soma clones are there. And individual member of soma clone is called ramete. What is ramete? Individual member of soma clone. Individual member of soma clone, what is it called? Is called ramete. Individual member is called ramete, group together is called soma clones. Why are they called soma clones? Because they resemble with the mother and they resemble among themselves also. Again, another one we can tell, through tissue culture or micropropagation, plants can be produced throughout the year, independent of the seasonal variations. Since you are growing them in the lab, you can control the conditions. So plants can be propagated, can be multiplied, can be propagated throughout the year. They can be propagated throughout the year, irrespective of seasonal fluctuations, right? Irrespective of seasonal fluctuations, we can multiply the plants. This is another application. And sterile plants which are not able to generate seeds, this is the best method to multiply their progeny. Sterile plants can be multiplied. They have their root, stem, leaf. From there you are generating the plant, right? So sterile plants can be multiplied by this technique. How good it is? Sterile plants can be multiplied or propagated. Then rare and threatened species, rare, threatened, endangered species can be multiplied and they can be maintained. So we can tell rare and threatened species can be propagated or multiplied. They can be multiplied and they can be maintained. So they are endangered, they are about to become extinct. They became extinct in the wild. So somehow you are trying to maintain them in the lab so that they don't become extinct, right? And another one, there are some plants like banana, strawberry and all, where during the course of evolution they have forgotten to produce the seeds only. They're called seedless variety. If seed is not there, how can you get the next generation? It's by micropropagation or tissue culture only. Seedless varieties are propagated only by tissue culture, right? What's the next advantage? Seedless varieties are multiplied or propagated only through tissue culture. Seedless varieties can be propagated only through tissue culture. Another important application what scientist has observed is, now this is the plant which has been completely infected with virus, and I want to recover a healthy plant from this one. So this is one variety. I don't have other varieties of this. This is one variety, but unfortunately this plant got infected with virus. The whole plant got infected with virus. I want to recover the genes back. I want to recover the genes back. Then what I can do is, I can go to apex of the plant where apical meristems are there or axillary meristems are there. So I can pick the apical meristems and axillary meristems of the infected plant. I can drop them in the tissue culture medium and we can generate a new plant. So these meristem cells are actively dividing cells. They don't give scope for the virus to enter and multiply. Even if all the plant is completely affected, meristem cells will not be affected. And then what we have done is, we have trimmed, taken, removed the apical meristem cells or axillary meristem cells, dropped it in the tissue culture medium. We know it is totipotent, it will generate the whole plant. So recovery of the plant from the infected plant can be done. Another application is recovery of the healthy plant. So NCERT says another application is, what is it? Recovery of healthy plant from virus infected plant. How do we do it? From the virus infected plant, we need to pick either the apical meristem or we need to pick axillary meristem. These meristem cells are actively dividing cells. They will not be infected by virus. They don't allow the virus to enter inside. Even if complete plant is infected, the apical meristematic cells are not having viruses. That we will take it, and then with these cells we will do tissue culture. With these cells we will do tissue culture, and through tissue culture we will generate the new healthy plant. So I got the same plant variety again. Understood, children? So this is one application. This is called meristem tissue culture. All these are the applications of tissue culture. In the next lecture, we'll be talking about somatic hybridization. What are hybrids and all, we will see in the next lecture. So what did we discuss in today's class? What is plant tissue culture and what is the tissue culture medium? Who are the scientists who have contributed to the tissue culture? What are the conditions to be maintained while doing tissue culture? And then we talked what is micropropagation, why is it called micropropagation, which type of plants are multiplied in micropropagation. Then at last we have seen the applications of tissue culture. They are, it helps in multiplication, rapid multiplication, in short span many plants we can get. All the plants are soma clones to each other. Individual member is called ramete. Genetically they are the same with each other, and these plants can be propagated irrespective of the seasonal variations, because you are doing it in the lab and you can maintain the conditions. Even from the sterile plants you can obtain the varieties. Now rare and threatened species can be maintained with the tissue culture technique. Seedless varieties are propagated only through tissue culture, and virus-free plants can be obtained or recovered from the infected plant. Right, children? Hope you understood the content. In the next lecture, we'll talk about somatic hybridization. Thank you.